Okay, class, let's continue to our lesson. So according to our condensed, let's take a look. Okay, so basically we're in the introduction to the Buddhism. Okay, so actually we are still in the introduction. So in the previous lesson, the history of the Buddhism spans almost 2,500 years from its origin in India with the Siddhartha Gautama. So from the history, in the very beginning, we start to know a few terminology like Samma, Sambuddha. Then we start to knowing that actually in Buddhism, there's a three component. There is a Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And then we will start to talk about, then from here we will talk about that the movement began when led to a new style of Buddhism known as the Mahayana or the Great Vehicle, meaning to say that basically in India itself, after the Abhidharma era, so the Mahayana raised up. Okay, it's about the 1st century. And then from the brief, we continue. Let's see. So they are a group of the philosophies and maybe meditator or so. Okay, and then here one more fact is about is they start to in the later stage develop a group of the people who meditate with the mantra and the visualization. We call it as the Vajrayana. So let's start our new sentence, our new paragraph now. Sally, can you please read the passage? Our knowledge, please. On the mic, please, Sally.
We are at the number of Buddhists in the world. Page 5.
Page 5. Are we done this section? Are we done?
This one is which part? The knowledge.
Page 3. No, sorry. Shall I know? Are we done? Page 3.
Yes, we're up to page 5.
Yeah, it's done.
Yes.
It is done already.
Yes.
Okay. So meaning to say my bookmark is not updated. So sorry. Let's go to the page 5. Okay. We talked about the Pali already. That's true. Page 4. Then the page.
The last paragraph.
Okay. The last paragraph. So the number, right?
The number.
Yeah. Okay. Can you start here, Sally, please?
Okay. The number of Buddhists in the world is as follows. See chapter 12 for detailed breakdowns. Southern Buddhism, 150 million. Northern Buddhism, 18.2 million. Eastern Buddhism, approximately 360 million. There are also around 7 million Buddhists outside Asia. This gives an overall total of around 535 million Buddhists in the world. 7.8% of the total 2010 world population of 6,852 million. Though in East Asia, there are at least another 200 million who relate to Buddhism to a fair extent. I think this one concludes the introduction.
Oh, okay. So this is the last one to conclude. Yeah, okay. Class, let's take a look. Okay, so the conclusion is a 7.8% of total population. 7.8%, not many actually.
Yes, very little.
Very little, not many. Actually, it's a 2010. It's a quite latest data. Okay, class, you know or not? For Chuji, the member is about 5 million. In the total world. Chuji, as you know, is the biggest number. I mean, for the Mahayana Buddhists. Okay, then I think this number already add up Chuji since Chuji established for 40 years. You see, so actually consider not many. Why do I say so? Basically, in Buddhism, if we got a very profound Buddhism, okay, we also have a very simple Buddhism. For example, okay, maybe for luxury profound Buddhism maybe like a Gucci, LV, or maybe we try to sell the Rolls Royce. It's very limited customer only. But once we talk about a very normal like Proton Saga or this, okay, then we can see that this type of brand whole world you can many people afford, all right. Nowadays the Proton series. See, basically we got this. I mean this both we got a variety of product by right and also especially Nian Fo Fa Men chanting the Buddha name. Actually, we should be able to reach to the number like a Catholic. But meaning to say that, but the Catholic, the way is not that complicated. They say you just believe to God, and then once you believe, then it doesn't go very tough. In order to, to become a Christian. So actually, the number should be more. The number should be more. Maybe the core Buddhists it wouldn't be too many because our Buddhism can go to the philosophy level and the Dharma is quite deep. Okay, but in terms of the mandate, it should be outreach more. So I don't know why. Maybe Catholic they are more outreaching. Maybe the way they do. I heard that they have many study group, family by family, and they use the really. And remember they also use some political influence, colonization influence in India. And wherever they colonize, they will just try to spread their religions. Once they reach to that particular country like Sarawak, Sarawak is the heaven of the Catholic. You all know that? Why? Because they do two things. They build a school, and second, they build a clinic. So once you get some advantage, benefit from it, it's quite hard for you to say no for them. See or not? But I think compared with them, nowadays Tzu Chi quite do well in terms of this type of charity. I heard that wherever we go, people were so thankful to Tzu Chi. I think this is at least Tzu Chi do something can outreach very far everywhere. And then the more mandate like we all do the Buddhism study, all this it wouldn't be too many so this is how is the consequence. This is the outcome we see here. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, yes. So Elena, what do you think? Are you satisfied with the number of Buddhism? The number of Buddhists, Elena? Are you happy, Elena?
There's no such thing or happy or not happy.
Okay.
But I think overall, I think Buddhist population could by now should be much more than that.
Yeah.
Very, very much more.
Yeah. Very, very far low from expectation. Okay, anyway, I think the figure is good to motivate us. Okay, so we should work harder a little bit. I think we are not that hard. I remember before MCO, sometimes once a while, some Christian will come to our family, not door by door, They say, I come bring you a message. So they will do such thing. For Buddhists, I think so far I haven't seen anybody do something like that. Go to knock door by door. Okay, right. So that is what we see here. Anyway, so please work harder. Okay. But anyway, I think the number is the second. The first is the quality, then is the quantity. So now, by attending the Dharma class, actually we try to enhance the quality for ourselves in the first place. Once we have the quality, then we start to, suggest to other people. Secondly, I think we are not that hard sell, the way I see it. Okay, according to the history of the Muslim, if you go to the Muslim museum somewhere here, you will see that they are using war to spreading their religions. So they just give you the choice between the Christ or the Bible, and the Quran. Then we have using this tactic. For Buddhism, since we emphasize on non-killing, it's quite hard to look for somebody which is extreme Buddhism. Of course, you can find that, but not that many. And seldom we see the Buddhists will touch the bomb on their body and bomb together with us. We seldom see it because this type of value is quite contrary to the Buddhism. So this is the advantage we see with the low number. Okay, Sally? Yes, good. The number is low is good because it doesn't look extreme. It's a consolation for ourselves. Okay, let's take a look to the diagram. Here we can know a little bit. Okay, the diagram, what is the significance? A current location of Buddhism in Asia. So class, let's take a look. So Sri Lanka, we can see, quite obvious, all right. Then here's the Burma, okay. Okay, class, then you see Pakistan and also the Afghanistan. Sadly to say is that actually 1,000 years ago, all are Buddhists. Here no more already. Afghanistan and Pakistan, see here. Basically, it flourished for 1,000 years before the rise of the Muslim. They are all under the Buddhism influence. Then here, Burma, Myanmar, we see it. Himalaya is a Tibetan Buddhism. They are all, under Buddhism influence. And let's take a look here also again, China, yes, okay, and Japan. So the Korean Buddhism actually is coming from China. It moved to the Japan. So let's take a look. You see, for example, this is Japan, Japan Buddhism. Yeah, do you see the image? Okay, so this is the Japan Buddhism. You can see the temple. This is very famous visiting place. Okay, so this is the Japanese monk. Okay, the attire is quite, there will be some modification from Mahayana. Then you can see the Japanese, then it turned out become the Japanese, custom, you see, quite similar. Okay, actually in Japan, if you go to travel Japan, you still can see the trace of the Tang Dynasty. Basically, Japan, they are very good in keeping the culture. They keep the culture for 1,000 years. Why? Because there's no changing of the majesty of the king. In China itself, every changing of the era is every destruction. All the king, they will try to destruct the previous king work, and also maybe we'll just kill all the ancestors, something like that, or kill everybody. So until now, we can hardly see they keep anything. So you want to see the Tang Dynasty, actually you just go to take a look to the Japan Buddhism. You can see that mostly they are all from the Tang Dynasty, the costume, including the the chopstick, using of the chopstick, the taofu, and the kimono, they wear actually all from Tang Dynasty. That is the influence from the Chinese Buddhism. And then in Korean Buddhism also is the same. Korean Buddhism actually is influenced. It brought up from Chinese Buddhism to the Korean. Is I think also about in the Tang Dynasty. You see the wearing is quite about the same. You see the sage. See okay, and then even the monastery, you can see the quite similar thing. I remember actually before some cultural revolution, they are still using the Chinese character, the Tang Dynasty Chinese character, but now already a lot of changes, but you still can see some Chinese word, okay, but meaning is a little bit different. Anybody went to Japan before? Anybody? One people only. Okay, have you ever see the word Tang? Okay, no, if you go to the ofuro, the hot bath, they will use the word Tang, right? No? One word. Okay, maybe you don't know, Sally. Let me show you this word. Tang. This word. Yeah, have you ever seen this word before? Okay, Tang, that in Japan, if you see the words of this Tang, basically it's soup in Chinese, but for Japan, this means hot hot bath already. So they already reinterpret a lot of the Chinese word, they reinterpret already. So now you don't see much, you can just see some shadow only. I mean the influence in term, besides from religions, including the culture. Okay, then we see again here. Okay, besides the Japan, Korean, then Chinese, you see, is including the Taiwan. So basically, I graduate from Taiwan Buddhist institution. So their influence is very much, is quite almost the same. Then let's take a look. Here, the Thailand, Bangkok, and Myanmar, the influence is quite different. It's from the Southern Buddhist. Let's take a look. It's from the Southern Buddhist, okay, and then one is for the Northern, and one more is the Eastern. Let's take a look. Eastern, we don't see any Eastern. Eastern is this, not that obvious, okay. Okay, so finish already. So we finished the whole introduction already. Okay, now, okay, I wish to begin with this. Let's take a look. Chapter 1 is regarding the Indian and his Indian context. Okay, I wish to start with the Chinese first. Yes, let's come here. Chapter 6 Mahayana. Chapter 7 later history spread of the Buddhism is Indian. We begin with the Chinese. Chapter number 9 Buddhist practice. Okay. Chapter number 10. Okay. Chapter number 11. Where is, let's see. The life of the Buddha. Second is early Buddhism. Third one is the early teaching. Okay. Fourth, early development of Buddhism. The rise of Mahayana. Chapter 5, Mahayana philosophy. Yogacara school, Tathagata. Chapter number 6, Mahayana holy being. Number 7, the later history. Chinese Buddhism. Yes, okay. Please go to the chapter number 7. Okay. Please go to the chapter number 7. Okay. Then chapter number 7, we begin with the, okay, here we will see the India and the Central Asia. Okay, Southeast Asia and Vietnam. And then the northern part, China, Vietnam and Korea, Japan and this. So the way I see, maybe we begin with the China. We begin with the China first, okay. So let's take a look. So this is about page number 210 or 210. We go to the page 210. Okay, 210. 210 China. 210. Yes. Okay, so we begin with the 210. Okay, Joel, can you please read the passage, early history, as the
Okay. Early history. As the religion of foreign merchants arriving from Central Asia, Buddhism was present in China by around 1550 CE. By the middle of the next century, Chinese interest led to texts being translated. First, Sravakayana works on meditation and Abhidhamma, then also perfection of wisdom sutras and works on the Pure Lands of Amitabha and Asobhya. China thus came to see an influx of hundreds of Buddhist texts translated from Indian languages. Unlike most other lands where Buddhism spread, China already had an ancient literature civilization, yet Buddhism managed to bridge the wide culture chasm between the Indian and Chinese worlds, as it has been doing with the West over the last century or so. The dominant ideology of society was Confucianism, a social philosophy going back to Confucius. Kong stressed the importance of the family and correct, harmonious social relationships, particularly filial piety or respect for parents. This extended to respectful worship of ancestors in line with long-standing Chinese practice. Man was seen as part of a triangle of forces: earth, man, and an impersonally conceived heaven, Tian. Kong's ideal was the scholar gentleman who studied the ancient classics that he had edited and cultivated a life of humanness and proper, respectful social relationships. In the Han Dynasty, 206 before century to 220 century, such a scholar gentleman ran the bureaucracy of the huge Chinese empire on behalf of the emperor, who was seen as the mediator of the forces of earth, man, and heaven as a worship worthy of worship. The other strand of Chinese thought was Taoism, a religio-philosophical system founded by the semi-mythical Lao Tzu, old sage, said to have born in 604 before century. The Tao Te Ching, the standard work on the way, Tao, and its power is attributed to him. This sees the mysterious, indescribable Tao as a force flowing through and generating all things in nature. The Taoist sage is one who tries to be like the Tao in acting effortlessly, spontaneously, and naturally. Thus, Taoism dislikes the formality engendered by Confucianism, though it shares its love of harmony. The sage should be humble, compassionate, and seek to become one of the Tao by meditatively contemplating it. From the 2nd century, a form of Taoism developed which was based on worship of many gods and the quest of longevity, a physical immortality using alchemy, diet, and meditation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, Sally, Tama, please, once you finish. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, class, let's take a look. If let's say you try to compare, I'm from Chinese Buddhism, right? Okay, you see some Theravada monk, you will see, it seems a quite big difference from both of us. Why? The reason is once Buddhism starts spreading from Indian to China, it's about maybe three century, and then and actually Buddhism before Christ 200 it starts spreading to Sri Lanka, from Sri Lanka to the Thailand and Myanmar. We notice that this type of country, they are not highly civilized. Well, since they are not highly civilized, they 100% accept the Buddhism, and Buddhism become their culture, especially Shakyamuni. So if you go to Theravada country, now the temple which is under influence of Theravada, you notice that they are overhyped like Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, Shakyamuni Buddha. But if let's say you come to the Mahayana temple, Mahayana influence temple, or we say Chinese influence temple, you feel the taste is very different. Why? Let's take a look, you see. Okay, basically if you come to see to the in Malaysia, this we call as a Chinese temple. Chinese temple in Malaysia. You see, this is the architecture. We notice that the architecture in the Chinese Buddhism in Malaysia actually is very influenced by the Chinese Taoism actually. You see, this is what we see here. Now you see, this type of architecture, of course it doesn't belong to Indian one, but it belongs to Chinese, especially in Taoism. If I put the keyword Taoism, actually exactly the same is like that. So meaning to say that when Buddhism reached to the Chinese, in order to tap the Chinese market, you have to adapt to the culture. See or not? In order to adapt the culture, we have to understand what is the Chinese culture. Basically, number one is the Confucius. So let's take a look. So this is the Confucius. Confucius. Let's take a look. Confucius. Yeah, this is a very important figure for us. Basically, his teaching will emphasize the relationship between to the people, and then we talk about the filial piety. So I can see the difference. Even though you all a banana, okay, but I can see the difference from you all with the Western culture people, because you will emphasize the filial piety. See or not? This is begin the blood of the Chinese. So meaning to say that before the Buddhism reached to the Chinese, they are already influenced by the Confucius. So that's why in Confucius, the relationship between the family is very important. Once, especially we want to become a monk, so there will be some contradict within. Because for them, they say the best way to obey to the family is you must have the offspring, right? Chinese mental perception, you must have the offspring. But once Buddhism reached there, we start to become a monk and we want to leave home already, you see? So it takes time to coordinate between both of them. So finally we come up with a new concept that leaving home actually is serving, staying in the home, serve our parent, actually is a small filial piety. Once we become a monk, we serve our parents for past many lives. So that is the big community. We serve to the big parents. We will serve more parents because it's from the past life. So you see, this type of perception. Once Buddhism reached to the China, we have to reinterpret the meaning of the living home and also use up the Bodhisattva. See or not? So this is how the Buddhism, the perception start to change once they reach to the Chinese. They are very emphasized on this family Confucius. And then second is the Taoism. Class, this is the Taoism. See which one you are familiar with. Once you put the word Dao Jiao, see, number one, yes, Popo, what is this for you?
This is yin and yang, is it?
Yin and yang, you are semi-Chinese, you know how we think about the Chinese. Okay. Yes, Joel, what is the significance for you, this symbol?
Yeah, I also thought it's yin and yang.
Yin yang, it relates to the Tai Chi, something like that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, how about this custom, Joel, for you? This custom, do you feel familiar?
The king.
The king.
Yeah.
係咪玉皇大帝啊？係咪啊？ Okay. So where do you get the perception of 玉皇大帝? Is it from the movie? Or also,
Yes.
From the movie, right?
Yeah.
From a movie. But the movie is in English or Chinese?
Chinese.
Chinese. You can understand Chinese.
My dad normally he likes all this Chinese history.
Oh, so you just watch lah. You don't
just
understand,
watch
but
lah.
you just watch.
Don't understand yeah.
Okay. Then 嗰啲咩八仙 all this you know lah. You heard about it, right? 八仙
heard about it lah.
仙
Yeah,
姑you know see or not?
Yes.
Okay, so you see before Chinese Buddhism come before the Buddhism come we are all highly civilized by this type of Taoism also. Let's take a look again. See okay. See? Then besides, you see, if you put Taoism, you see, this temple is quite similar with the Chinese temple, Tianhou Gong, right? Sometimes a mixture already. Okay, how about this figure? Yeah, Sally, who is this? Have you ever seen this before?
I normally see this when you go for prayers for the deceased.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about Tai Xiong Lou Guan, Sally?
Yes,
so,
I did.
So this one is a Tai Xiong Lou Guan. Actually, they are the most important figure in Taoism. Okay, and then you see, then we come here. We see the Tai Xiong Lou Guan. Okay, then this I put the keyword Taoism. It come out. Okay, Sally, how about this? It is familiar with you. Elena.
Yes.
No,
Yes, we see.
no, Elena. Elena, do you feel familiar with this type of figure? A group of them. What are they doing actually?
I think this one is the Taoism Qiu Dou.
Qiu Dou, right? You said Qiu Dou. Okay, Elena, if I put the figure, I put the Chinese monk inside, do you think it is compatible with this scenario or not?
Quite similar.
Yeah, you see? Good. Elena, you say quite similar. It means what? It means meaning to say that when Buddhism come to the Chinese, they really adapt very well. They just change the figure from the Taoism to the Chinese monk only. The rest they put the same, and then maybe they pray. Is the one of Tai Xiong Lou Guan, all this. We bring it down, then we put the medicine Buddha. See or not? So that's why if you go really got chance, you go to join their rituals for the ceremony, you will see, it seems so many quite similar with the Chinese Buddhism. Just exchange of the Deva, the Buddha, maybe the chanting also is about the same. I see it. So that's why we say this is a highly civilized with the Taoism. Okay, and we see again now. Yeah, okay. So it's enough already. Then including you see, you sometimes you see a Chinese monk we do the things. The reason is because we try to replace the Taoism. According to the history, after struggling for 1,000 years, Buddhism successfully become partial of the culture for the Chinese. Meaning to say, Buddhism, Confucianism, and the Taoism, three of them is already mingled, become one already. You cannot take the Buddhism up. Why? Because we successfully mix them very well. So that's what we see here. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay. So meaning to say we're quite a little bit different with the Buddhism, I mean in the Theravada. So let's begin here. It said actually it's around 50 CE. This is quite early a little bit. It start rising to the Chinese already. It's arriving from the Central Asia. So class, let's take a look. Okay, slow a little bit. Okay, class, let's take a look. See how. So Buddhism actually spreading from the Central Asia and reached to the China through the Silk Road. That's what we see here. See or not? So this is a Chinese. So the Buddhism through the Silk Road, okay, through the Silk Road. So this is India, through the Silk Road, Central Asia, and reached to the China. And then actually begin with what not begin with the Amitabha. He say according here, it's begin first is a Sravakayana words. Let's take a look. What is a Sravakayana words? The definition. Sravakayana words. Sravakayana is one of the three yana known to Indian Buddhism. It's translated literally as a rigor of the listener. Okay, Sravaka meaning to say is to become Arahant. So class, just write down vehicle of the listener is a Sravaka. So if you aim as a Sravaka, meaning to say that you aim to become Arahant. So according to the text, in a very early stage in Chinese, they are not aiming to become a Bodhisattva, but it aims in a very early stage to become the Sravaka. Surprisingly, we know this. Okay, and then he say also we get some meditation and Abhidhamma. Later on, we also have some perfection of the Wisdom Sutra. So class, the example of this is the Kam Kong King, perfection of the Wisdom Sutra. We call it as the Puer. Class, you can write down perfection of the wisdom is a Da Puer Jing. Maybe I just write something you are familiar, you are more familiar. It's a Jing Gang Jing. So class, you can write down Puer Jing or Jing Gang Jing. So class, I think you can have to learn some Chinese word in this class. Jing Gang Jing. So Jing Gang mean diamond. Sometimes we will translate it naughtily as a King Kong. Actually, no, this is Jing Gang mean a diamond. Chinese people prefer this sutra very much. Actually, the meaning is about the wisdom of the Buddhism. So we call it as a perfect wisdom, we call it Kam Kong. Okay. Yeah, Sally, is this big enough? Joy, are you good in the Chinese writing? Are you good in Chinese writing?
Oh,
No, are you trying to write it down? This?
I just write down the English one.
Oh, no. Now this lesson, I will give you a little bit tuition of this in
Oh,
Chinese.
okay.
Yeah, you write it down.
Okay,
You see,
okay.
yeah, Sally is struggling already. Elena also struggling. Not late. Okay, just write
Okay,
down.
okay.
Okay. Sorry, the second words actually I should give you the abbreviation. I should give you the abbreviated words. Next time, I will try to give you all the abbreviated words easy for you to write. Okay, finish. So let's see again here. Okay, then you see, and works on the purely of Amitabha and Akzoba. So Akzoba, it means what? Akzoba means A Chuo Fo. Sally Elena, are you familiar? A Chuo Fo. During the chanting, not familiar. How about Elena? A Chuo Fo.
No.
No,
No.
So forget about it. If you're not familiar, just forget about it. We just learn something which you feel familiar only lah. Okay, because now we talk about the Chinese Buddhism. Then we come here, you see, China already have an ancient literate civilization already. So we must bridge over there. So number one, the culture is the Kung Fu Zi lah. So please write down the words Kung Fu Zi. Let me show you how. Kung Fu Zi, yes. Maybe the even simple one is a Kong Zi lah. Please write down Kong Zi. So this is the symbolic figure for Chinese people. If a Guangdonghua mean the Hong Ji lah. Okay, Kong Zi. Maybe you can just write down Kong Zi. Okay, something like that. Kong Zi. Actually, Kong Zi, there's two philosophy is greatly influencing us. See whether you're familiar or not. Number one, once three people work together, everyone can become a teacher. Heard about that? Yes, familiar, because 三人行必有我师焉. Okay, second, 己所不欲，勿施于人. Okay, please give people something which you don't like it. Okay, heard about that? Don't give something to somebody which you don't like it. Okay, heard about that? So actually, it's from the Kong Zi lah. So you can just write down. So this is how did Kong Zi influence us? Okay, so this is a Kong Zi lah. Then we also talk about 不孝有三. Okay, unfilial piety got three. So no offspring is the number one. Heard about that? Non-filial piety, there's a three elements of non-filial piety. Without any spring is the number one. 聽過冇? No, never heard about that. 睇戲冇睇到啊，你哋睇多啲戲啊，你哋啊。Okay, so this is also quite famous. They will use it in the movie lah. It's from Kong Zi lah. Okay. And next, let's see. Okay. Then we talk about filial piety, respect for the parents. Okay. So basically, so this type of how does it influence? It make us as the senior, as the elder son, basically we keep our roles to take care of the whole family. Even parents getting older, we'll try to take care, because this is the filial piety concept. But if in the Western country, they prefer use the social welfare system to take care of the old people. So you see the difference. But nowadays, I think they already mixture already. Even though I myself, even though you yourself, maybe if you're old, you hope to go to the home care house. You are not expecting your children to taking care of you. Am I right? People agree. So meaning to say that nowadays some exchange already. But in ancient time, they will persist that as the children must take care with their parents in their old age. You see, especially in bedridden, it's that era already. Then let's take a look. Okay, here in Confucius also talk about one important concept is 天地人, triangle of the forces. 天地人, basically this is the combination from the force. Okay, let's see, yeah. Man was seen as human as see are part of a triangle of forces and impersonally considered of the heaven. Okay. So please write down earth, man, and the heaven is a 天地人 This one 天地人. Please write down 天地人. This is a Chinese philosophy. I remember when people pass away in the Tanglong, they will write down the 天地人 for calculation of the age, right? Sally, Elena, it just right, okay, they will calculate. So meaning to say they will add another 3 age, right? Sally, add another 3, so 77 years old become 80 years old already, So 天地人, so this is a heaven, this is the earth, this is a man. Okay, and then besides, let's see, not finished already. Okay, if you got question, you can ask. I feel so happy to give you extra tuition in Chinese culture. Because if you don't want to learn anymore, I think in next generation it could be worse. Am I right? It could be worsen and worsen. Okay, then we go to the Taoism. Taoism, the figure is the Lao Tzu. So you have to write down. This is a very important figure. Let me show you first. Lao Tzu. So this is the face of the Lao Tzu. See, so this is the face of the Lao Tzu. So he is a semi-god or semi-human, something like that. So please write down Lao Tzu name. One is a Kong Zi, second is a Lao Tzu. Both is Zi. I don't know whether are you confusing or not. Okay, Lao Tzu. Then besides, let's take a look at Lao Tzu. Here, there's one important word we call it as a Tao. The Tao we write in this way. This is quite difficult to explain. It's a little bit abstract for these words. If you write Tao, you see what image appeared. You see Tao, and you see sometimes you see this appeared. You think about yin yang, right? But sometimes it represents the Tao also, you know. This is quite abstract, the word of the Tao. So please write down the word Tao. This one. I mean, a more clear one. You can just write this Tao. Tao. This is a representation. A Buddha is the representation word for the Buddhists. Tao is the representative word for the Taoism, basically. So they will say Tao actually is a natural. Everything is natural. Very abstract Until now, I also don't know what exactly is the definition of the Tao. You ask 100 people, 100 people give you 100 definition. So end up I also confusing myself. Okay, so this is the word of a Tao. And we see it again. Okay, semi-mystical Lao Tzu, indescribable Tao. So just now the word Tao is this. You say as the force flowing through and generating all things is nature. Tao is the one who generates all the things according to here. Number one, the worship of the many God. Yes, many God. Yes. So you see, so this is many God, 道教的神仙. So in 道教, basically we will write 道教神仙. See, many God, right? So once we talk about the Taoism, actually there are many God, you see, you see many God. Okay, all from the Taoism. And secondly, let's take a look. Okay, they also the quest for the longevity. What they call the 長生不老啦，聽過冇？if you watch the movie, they always say 長生不老. Okay, according to them, 八仙 they are the 長 longevity. I think this word you have to write down already. Even though it's a 4 words, we call it as a 長生不老 longevity. 長生不老. 長生不老. Yes, please write down. So this is a longevity. 長生不老 can write down. It's 4 words. 長生不老. This one the 老 no old 啦, no old. 長 mean the longevity 啦, okay. Basically for them, 八仙嗰啲何仙姑they are all considered as a longevity 啦. Elena, have you came across these words before, the 老 before? Just now?
Yeah, 師父長生不老. But I thought 長生不老 is they also got their 4 gods. Is it 福祿壽長that one? Is there any?
Yeah. That will also mean they are very longevity. How about this word, Elena? 老
Yeah, I know.
Have you ever came across the word 老 before just now?
Yeah, old lah. Old.
Hey, just now remember 老子, also this word.
Yes,
老,
yeah.
But 老子 doesn't mean old just a name only.
Yeah.
Yes. So 長生不老啦, longevity. Then one more is about the physical immortality lah. Okay, we know that. Then using the alchemy. Okay, if you're using alchemy, is regarding to the 炼丹 炼丹. Let's see, this is the alchemy. 炼丹. Yes. So this is the alchemy we mean now.
Then you'll be talking about 太上老君 already.
Yeah. I have to tell you all this. Yeah, this is a tuition for you all. You see, so this is a tan, you see, in Chinese movie, Joel, I think you watched that before, right? They are using this alchemy actually. They put a lot of mineral in order to produce the medicine. The medicine can be longevity. So the alchemy actually is the 炼丹. So you just write one word, tan. This word is very important. 炼丹, one word only. Tan, then you know that. So for Taoism, in the very beginning, they are the tan actually is from outside, but finally, the tan they go into the abdomen already. So meaning to say from external to internal. A little of my south summer, I think it's quite heavy rain already. Yeah, anybody want to go to clean your clothes, to keep your clothes?
Some more, Sifu.
No lah, okay.
No, Sifu.
Yes.
I think just now that one is Joey, not
Joel. Joey. Okay. I pronounce
you keep calling her Joel.
Yeah, Joey. Okay, you teach me English, I teach you Chinese. Okay, so class actually the 炼丹 it could be 内丹跟外丹 If let's say it's a 内丹, you see it's from external to internal. You see or not? This is the internal alchemy. This is more advanced. Because why, Actually, according to history, a lot of kings die due to a lot of consumption of the alchemy, Because what is the component? It's a mercury, But they believe they want to quest for the longevity. So finally, a lot of people die due to the poisonous of the mineral, Very ridiculous. A lot of king, Joey heard about the story. Then later on, they shift already from the external to internal. So we call it this as a nei dan. So you can write down the words nei dan. Nei means internal. So they go back to the meditation already. This is a go back to the meditation. You can write down nei dan. This is important words. In Chinese, we pronounce as nei dan. Nei dan. Nei dan. No worry, I will just let you write a very simple Chinese only so that you enjoy the Chinese character in the middle age, not in the early age, in the middle age. You all. So what is the meaning of the tan? So just something, can you see? In the stomach, you see here? This is the tan. Once the tan mature, finally, what's the consequence? You see, actually, there's a 3-part important of the body. So this is the lower, is the middle, is the upper. So when you make it, it will just go up to the upper here and then come up from the top of the head. So that is the successful of the cultivation. It is quite similar with the yoga tradition, you see. It come up from here. So once you're able to reach out all the energy and you successfully make the tan, so it will come out from here. In Buddhism, we call it as a samadhi. In yoga, they call it as the crown chakra of a manifestation. Actually, they are the same thing only. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the diet meditation. Okay, is enough already. Okay, next paragraph. Yes, Popo, can you please read the passage?
In Buddhism transmission to China, some of the problems it faced related to its monasticism. Celibacy was seen as undermining the Chinese stress on continuing the family line, so as not to deprive the ancestor of worship. The unfilial monks also lived a life which was not based on home and family, the center of a Chinese life. Moreover, the Chinese expected all but the scholar gentlemen to be engaged in productive work. But the monks lived off alms. When monasteries in time became wealthy through the donation of both land and precious metals for images, Buddhism was attacked as being an economic drain on the country. The Sangha was also for it was an autonomous group which needed to be regulated before it could fit into the totalitarian structure of Chinese society. A symbol of this autonomy was the fact that initially monks would not bow in worship to the emperor, for monks should not bow to even the most senior layperson. Though the Chinese love foreign exotica, the nationalistic Confucian literati came to criticize the growing religion as suitable only for foreign barbarians. Buddhist thought tended to see class differences as unimportant, while social hierarchy was important in Confucianism. The other worldly aspects of Buddhist thought were also in tension with Chinese pragmatism and focus on this world. To Confucian rationalists, there was no evidence of rebirth. There was nothing wrong with killing animals, and the fate of individuals and kingdoms depended on the will of heaven, not individual karma. How was it then that Buddhism came to be for a long time the main religion of all classes in China, with Taoism as the second religion and Confucianism remaining as the main influence on social ethics? A key event was the decline and breakup of the Han dynasty, which led to a crisis of value due to the apparent failure of Confucianism. In this situation of uncertainty, Buddhism stepped in to fill a vacuum and put out its roots. In some ways, This has parallels with the origins of Buddhism in India, which was also at a time of social change, anxiety, and the seeking of new values.
Okay, thank you so much. So all the challenges coming already, you see. Okay, class, basically, there are the contradictions between the Buddhism and also the Chinese culture. Number one, during your grandma times, during the praying, do they kill the animals for the praying? Grandma time, yes, especially chicken, am I right? Actually, this is under Confucianism. For them, it is proper because for Confucian, they don't believe no killing one. They say you must kill the animal for the praying. Okay, and then second, they don't believe in reincarnation. Since you don't believe reincarnation, you don't believe in karma. So of course, for them, no big deal, just killing only one. For the Buddhists, because we worry all the karma we attribute to somebody, so we ban the killing. You see, so this is the number one contradiction. So nowadays, I think a lot of people pray without killing, right? 係咪拜齋做啊？Sally 你哋係咪？係嗬 ？Elena 係咪你屋企都拜齋開係咪 ？Elena 屋企係咪拜齋做係咪？
Yes.
Yes, you see, so this is actually some change already. Really, Chinese people actually they kill and pray. So this is something we see here in Malaysia the changing And then besides, we talk about renunciation, the monk. Okay, then the hierarchy. Okay, one thing is according to the movie, everybody should bow to the king. Am I right? What about a monk? Any movie showing that a monk bow to the king? Any movie? Joanne, have you ever seen any monk bow to the king according to the movie?
Don't have one.
好似冇係咪？好似冇，好似冇。You see, actually, it's really a revolution in Chinese for 1,000 years to get the reason why a monk no need to bow to the king. You see, so for them, king is the everything, is the highest one for Chinese people. You see. But when monks come, monks if don't bow to the king, it means what? Are we higher than the king or same, equal, or level? So that is a really a very hot topic in Chinese people. But anyway, Buddhism do a little bit modification. You can see here. Let's take a look. What did they do? Let's see. This is the Arahant in Chinese. Oh. Okay, so this is a Lohan. You see, we call it as Fu Long Lohan. So the Arahant conquering the dragon. You see, okay. So you think this Arahant, if go to the China, can they maintain the same standard? Arahant at the high and conquering, and also ride on the tiger, ride on the dragon. Can you keep this figure? Once Buddhism reached to the China? Yes, Elena, what do you think? Can you keep this figure or not?
Not very sure, but this one I saw a lot in the movies only.
Yeah, also in the movie. But do you know or not? Once this figure reached to the Chinese, the dragon is no more become a ride. The dragon is become at the sky, at the heaven.
Yes,
You know why?
correct.
You know why?
Yeah. 天子啊，龍係
Yes.
天子。
Dragon means what? The king, right?
King, yeah.
How can you ride on the king? It's a taboo already. So once this figure reached to the China, the dragon is no more under the right of the Arahant. It goes to somewhere else already. See or not? Meaning to say, Buddhism, they are very smart. They don't want to offend the king. So the best way, they remove the dragon, let them go to the sky, you see? Very smart, okay. Sally, you don't understand, Sally? You don't understand? Oh, okay, Yeah, they don't understand.
I don't watch all this kind of movies.
No, this is not a movie actually. Actually, this is a figure, I mean, this is quite famous, we call it Arahant, who conquering the tiger, you know. You see the tiger you see the Arahant is riding a tiger, you know. If you put this figure to the China, meaning to say that the Buddhism is riding over the king, you know. So that is a taboo, you know. The king can slaughter you, you see. So finally, they do some change. So they let the Arahant, let the dragon not under the right of the Arahant. So in Silk Road, it become different already. You see, in 丝绸之路 okay, so I didn't go further so that is the meaning here they do some modification due to the culture all right then come here again finish I see not the fate of individual in the kingdom depends on the will of the heaven, not individual karma. Okay, next paragraph. Yes, who haven't read the passage yet? Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, Sally, can you please read the passage? How was it?
How was it then that Buddhism came to be for a long time the main religion of all classes in China, with Taoism as the second religion and Confucianism remaining as the main influence on social ethics? A key event was the decline and breakup of the Han Dynasty, which led to the crisis of values due to the apparent failure of Confucianism. In this situation of uncertainty, Buddhism stepped in to fill a vacuum and put down its roots. In some ways, this has parallels with the origins of Buddhism in India, which is also at the time of social change, anxiety, and seeking of new values. Buddhism has both the developed ethic as Confucianism had, and a developed philosophy as Taoism had. It is more popular oriented than Confucianism and had a more systematic philosophy of human nature than Taoism, particularly popular in the concept of all people having the Buddha nature and an equal potential for enlightenment, which is reintroduced to China, a notion of equal worth of all people. This idea had fallen out of favor since it has been expressed by Mao Zedong, the critic of both Confucianism and Taoism. The compassionate assistance of heavenly Buddhas and the great Bodhisattvas brought hope and solace in sorrow. The karma rebirth doctrines came to be seen as a good support for morality, and the alien faith proved to be adaptable and tolerant. Adaptations were facilitated by the notion of skillful means. Ancestors could be cared for by transferring merits, fruitfulness to them, so that Buddhist monks came to be much called on for the rites for the dead. The dead abbots were worshipped as the ancestors of a monastery, and the novice monk is expected to behave respectful by filial way towards the monk assigned to watch over him. Moreover, schools of Buddhism developed which has more this worldly pragmatic emphasis, though there were also some that expressed themselves to be in very abstract language. Following the Han Dynasty, China was split into the northern part, controlled by non-Chinese barbarians, such as the Han, and the southern part governed by a series of weak Chinese dynasties. In the north, missionary monks have a reputation of meditation-based psychic powers, and so were sought out by magic-loving people to teach meditation, seen as a means of protection against the war-torn period. The rulers sought out the psychic monks as advisors on political and military matters, and the monks then gradually civilized them, tempered their excess, and converted them into protectors of Buddhism. A good example of skillful means at work. As a non-Chinese religion, Buddhism found favor with the powerful rulers and also became the religion of the people. The practical side of Buddhism was stressed in the form of devotion, meditation, and good works, with more than 300,000 temples being constructed in the north by the 6th century. Many translations were also made, especially by the large translation bureau run by Central Asian monk Kumarajiva from 402 to 413 CE. Brief Taoist and Confucian inspired suppression in 446 to 52 and 574 to 8 were ineffective in stemming the growth of Buddhism.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Sally 你睇下喂 30,000 temple in the 6th century 30,000 會唔會多過 Malaysia 嘅 temple 啊？多過係咪？
應該冇多過咯。
你睇 6th century 個廟啊，仲多過而家 Malaysia 嘅 temple， 睇到冇？So you can see at that moment how flourishing Buddhism and Chinese, and nowadays if you go to pay the visit to Chinese you can see temple everywhere because the culture more than 1,000 years already. You see since 50 until now it's about 2,000 years already. So they are very strong. You see a few things I found that the Buddhism adapt very well. 你哋有睇過呢個嘢冇？睇過呢個冇？
呢個唔係神主牌咩？
Yes，祖先牌啊，
神主牌有冇
祖先牌。
先 ？OK 好。你哋有冇睇過呢啲神主牌係咪喺 temple 入邊？睇過冇？睇過冇？
試過，有。
睇過係咪 ？OK， 你哋有冇試過係咪？即係我哋掹四開，我哋掹個名揸喺神主牌，俾其他嗰啲掹junior 掹嚟拜，睇過冇？
有。
Yes, you see, actually, this is really Chinese culture, not the Buddhism culture. But in order to tap the Chinese market, Buddhism go in very well. And then same, you see, in our culture, we are elder son. The son take care with the parents, right? Same. The monastery, the novice monk take care with the abbot monk. Okay, acceptable, right? So that's why it go in very well. You see, just like according to history, because due to the war, the country have been torn apart in the Han Dynasty. So there will be some gap there. So Buddhism go in, and then the culture is very good. You see, number one, 我哋唐人有祖先啱冇先？So Buddhism say you can transfer merit to your 祖先. Sounds good, right? So we absorb it already. Buddhism come in again, so you can just say do the same thing, do the chanting, transfer merit 俾你個祖先the way I know Christian they disallow them have a 神主牌位but here Chinese Buddhism we allow it number one. Then second then the culture we mentioned just now all included, all right. And then third one when we talk about the reincarnation, okay, then we support the molarity. Basically everybody say 5 precepts is important once you have reincarnation, so it accept again during at that time it become part of the partial of the culture again, you see. So that's why all this is the facts starting from that time Buddhism start to conquer the Chinese people and become partial of the culture at that time. So this is the example. Let's take a look. Okay, and then I talk about also the Bodhisattva. Okay, shall I know? Okay, why Guan Yin is more popular than Shakyamuni in Chinese? Popo, you think why Guan Yin, Guan Shi Yin Pusa is more common and popular than Shakyamuni? You think why?
Is it because of Taoism?
Okay, Popo, I ask you, okay, if you got money problem, who are you begging for?
My parents?
No. Guan Yin or Shakyamuni?
Oh, sorry. Guan Yin.
Guan Yin, right? If you got healthy problem, who are you begging for?
Guan Yin.
If you don't have children, who are you begging for?
Guan Yin.
So that's why Guan Yin is more common in Chinese compared with Shakyamuni so that's why this perception of Bodhisattva since everybody feel console and comfort by the Guan Yin, so it become a major our figure already especially the Guan Yin with the white color gown one that one is very is go deep everybody heart and mind already. See or not? So this is of course is something very different with the Theravada Buddhism already. Okay, so it's a Bodhisattva. So it's from these facts class, let's take a look. You can write down here. Now you see let me write it down. Okay, Buddhism had a more systematic human nature than the Taoism. Right, you see, okay, great Bodhisattva brought hope and the solace in the sorrow. Okay, this Bodhisattva is a Guan Shi Yin Please write down so I try to give you a simple words. Guan Shi Guan Gun Yam Guan Shi Yin Guan Yin. Okay, the Bodhisattva is this Guan Yin. You can write down. Sometimes we call it Guan Yin Da Shi. Actually, this figure is commonly shared in Taoism and the Buddhism actually. Guan Yin. Okay, besides the Guan Yin, then we see it again. Okay, one more is the Buddha nature. Is this really influence you? Once in Buddhism we mentioned that everybody can become a Buddha. Is this perception make us feel that everybody is equal, is good? Is this influential? I think for Chinese people they prefer if you are a king, you always are king. We are the residents only. We always obeys to you. Is this perception very strong in Chinese people? Obey to the king, obey to the senior. Yes, right? Yes, right. How about Elena, your family?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Elena? Is this a common value?
Yes.
Yes, obey to the senior. See or not?
Yes.
So this value, I think if this value fight with the equal rights, I mean everybody got the Buddha nature. I think this is more stronger. I think for the Westerner, they will prefer Buddhism because Buddha said everybody can become a Buddha, equal one, right? So I think these are still Chinese value are more stronger. Hey, Elena, have you ever struggled before? Because woman nowadays a woman right should be top priority. You have any struggle between this or not?
Not really, no.
Not really.
Not
Have
really.
you ever have a revolution in the family before? Hey, woman right, number one.
No lah, no need to do that lah.
No need to do that.
No need to do that.
No need to use the banner. Hey, nowadays human right, not woman right. Where got senior right? Okay. So this is, I think it's really is a between the culture problem also. And next, let's see again. So this is not that influential. You can write it down. The ancestor, yes. Okay. The abbot, yes. Okay. Then what else? Let's see. Okay, yes. So this happened in the history. During the Han Dynasty, at that moment, the guy who got the psychic become the advisor to the politics and military. So who is the one? His name is Fu Tu Chen. This is the guy. This is the monk. It's not guy. This is the monk. Fu Tu Chen. So this is the monk. who possess the psychic and become the advisor to the king because the king they are very cruel, you know, so they are the one who give them the advice. We can write down the name maybe for this no need to write the Chinese, you can just write for to thank, and then it's a Dharma Will SVG you can just write down. So this is he is, you see, he is in the year 232348. So at this time the king prefer consult this type of a psychic monk, and then the psychic monk will try to educate them to killing less, to keep from killing less. For to thank just write psychic monk. He is the people from the Xinjiang, Western region, they call it Saiwik, Western region. From the Western region. For to thank, okay. Okay, then some more here. Okay, this is a very famous monk, the monk Kumara Jiwa. He is the translator of the 佛说阿弥陀经. Please write down Central Asia monk. So this is his hometown, Sally. This is the Kumara Jiwa hometown, which is in the Kucha, for Kucha, LC, Sadly, this is the country of Kumara Jiwa, the translator of 佛说阿弥陀经. So this is the area here, Kuchala. So this is where is his hometown of Kumara Jiwa. Sally, you like this sutra very much, right? 佛说阿弥陀经, right, Sally? Okay, do you know how is the face of the translator? Would you like to know? Okay, yes, so maybe I just let you see, okay. According to Jiu Mo Lo Shi, his name is Jiu Mo. So this is his face, Nowadays, if you go to Kucha, you're still able to see his statue, and also there's a cave. So this is his face. It's a Xinjiang people. Okay, from the Kucha. You see, this is the place where he stay. Looks beautiful, right? Kucha. Yes, Kumara Jiwa. He did translate Jing Gang Jing also. 金刚经、法华经, and also the also the 佛说阿弥陀经. So if you don't mind, you write out the Chinese because it always appears in the Chinese. 鸠摩罗什, please write down Kumara Jiwa, 鸠摩罗什. So this is not a Chinese name quite clear. It's the name from the Xinjiang. So sometime I open the course of the Dharma Flower Sutra on Sunday as a commemorate, as a memory to him also, partial also memory for him, because he translate the Dharma Flower Sutra is in this era about 5th century, quite early stage he translate it, and the Dharma Flower Sutra is very influential for the Chinese people. Okay, so Sally Elena, if you don't mind, you can just come and try first or second, number 1 or second lesson. Okay, just to commemorate him. I think it contribute a lot for the Chinese Buddhism. And the translation is so simple. Until today, we still feel that it is very simplest Chinese. I think Elena and Sally, if you wish to learn the Chinese, you can begin with the 佛说阿弥陀经. Even though it had been translated 1,600 years ago, but still very simple nowadays for everybody. So we have to thank you to them. Elena, do you have any learning Chinese project or not, Elena? How about Joey? You want to learn Chinese? No, get frightened already.
In
No.
Chinese,
learn
you
Chinese.
have to.
Yeah, Elena, you want to learn Chinese?
Yeah, one word you have to wait half an hour for me to write.
No, no, no. You just come to join the Sunday class for short. Miao Fa Lei Hua Jing. Then you can start learning already. I will just, I don't know lah. You just try to learn just commemorate to the big figure lah. The good
Yes, that means your Sunday class for this one is to study the whole sutra in Mandarin.
Yes, the whole sutra. Yes. Okay.
I can just sit and listen without participating.
Yeah. Can. I mean, meaning to say simple Chinese 70% of mastery. I think you can get something already lah. Until you feel boring, Elena. Oh, too deep cannot understand. Then you just dissipate yourself lah. Something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we start our class.